Okay, guys, so before we get this started, just remember this is for sheer entertainment. Everything I say and everything I do, I recommend that you do not do them because this is purely for entertainment purposes. Don't do what I say, don't do what I do. I'm an actor. This is all an act, just for your entertainment. Anyway, getting that out of the way. So I was requested to do a video on marijuana and its effects with training, good or bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys my experience with marijuana pre-training, right? My experience, okay? But I'm going to give you guys a little education. So for those of you who don't smoke or maybe haven't or do or whatever and have, problems with it or whatever it is, I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of, I guess, enlightenment, a little more education, because you got to make sure that when we're doing these things, we're still educating people. So my history in smoking weed, I started smoking when I was 11 years old, right? Same time I started working out. And just like every young kid, I started off smoking to be cool, literally. This kid came by, I remember it was like an after school special, like one of those, don't do drug awareness kind of commercials where the kid comes up to you and literally, kid I knew, not gonna say his name, but he came up to me and he had a Boys to Men cassette tape, empty, and it had 5 joints in it. And he's like, "Hey, you want to smoke?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I smoked before," obviously lying. And then it was, I'm not even gonna explain the whole experience, but it was pretty fun looking back at it now. Anyway, so smoked, got really real high, got home way too late, and my dad gave me the biggest butt whooping I've ever had. And that was my first time smoking marijuana, and then it kept going. So when someone asked me to do a video on marijuana and training, I was like, I have to go back and think of when is the first time I consciously used marijuana for the purposes of it enhancing my training or being part of my supplement regimen. So looking back at when I did, I'm like, okay, I remember it was like basically when I was playing junior football. We would, back in the, I remember I'm 37, this is back when I was like 20, and we had, we didn't have like all the cool pre-workouts then. We had like, Yellow Jackets. They're like crazy high caffeine pills you could take. We took them when we played football. I lived right across from Detroit, Michigan, so, all the stuff we can get from there. And I remember we took that, we were able to go work out, and then my buddy was like, let's play some Madden before we go to the gym. So we would basically take our pre-workout, caffeine, and then we would smoke playing Madden pre-gym, and then we go to the gym. And then I remember at the time, and I'm like, man, my focus is like crazy. Like I was like, the music was way more crisp. I had a good pump. I was just feeling it, I was so aware. I remember just being like, everything was just like vibrant in a way. But the problem is back then, like most of us, and for those who probably don't smoke and they're like, when I smoke, it makes me really tired or lazy or I get anxiety. The problem back then is pre-legalized weed is you got what you got. You didn't know what you were getting. You didn't know if you're getting a sativa or an indica. And we'll talk about those in 2 seconds. So the problem with that is you get a certain kind of weed, and you don't know if that weed is gonna pick you up or bring you down. So you don't know if it's gonna make you high energies. You don't know if it's gonna make you just tired and want to chill and do nothing. So you just got what you got, and you went. And then sometimes I'd have a really good workout. Sometimes my beginning of my workout will be really good, and then also halfway through I'd be like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then sometimes before I even got to the gym, after playing like a couple rounds of Madden, whatever. All of a sudden, I'm like, I don't even want to go anymore because I'm just too tired. So hindsight now, and this is where we get the educational part. So mind you, I've been smoking for a while. I'm not going to say I'm a weed connoisseur, but we have to understand that there's 2 types of weed. So we have like an indica and we have a sativa. Then we have certain things that would distinguish what types of highs you get from these kinds of cannabis. So when we're looking at THC being the levels of the psychoactive part, the euphoric part of weed. And then you're looking at CBD being more so of like the medicinal part of the cannabis, right? So you won't really feel CBD in the sense of feeling high here or like a body buzz, whatever, but you'll get more of the medicinal benefits of, joint pain, anxiety, all those things that, that help with, medicinally. So for me, understanding that is, and for advice, remember, I'm an actor, you want to stay away from an indica. So let's touch on indica. Indica is mainly that weed that you want to use at nighttime. When you're done work, you got nothing else to do for the day, you want to just relax, veg out, watch some Netflix and just do nothing, just chill out and relax. Say you have, hard time eating, your appetite's absolutely terrible. Indicas are going to be that kind of, weed you want to help increase your appetite. You just want to relax, appetite, eat, that's it, do nothing, boom, that's what you want. End of the day kind of thing. That's me. Sativa is going to be that upper, right? That's going to give you more alertness. It's going to make you feel more ready, more of like an upper. You get more of a head high. As indica, you're going to get more of a kind of like a body high. You're a lot more, aware, alert, and more energy. So if you're looking at like a sativa is almost like a nootropic in a sense. When I figured that all out, and I've always knew the difference between indica and sativa, the only thing was I couldn't get it like I can now, being it's legal. So I can go to the store and get it. I can talk to the attendant there and be like, listen, this is what I'm looking for. I'm going to the gym, gonna work out, probably gonna be there for an hour and a half. Something to keep me focused and high energy, and I don't want to crash. So what they'll tell me is, well, you want to have a sativa with about of a medium level of THC, because the higher the THC, the more of that high you're going to get, right? And you want to be like super duper high because you can't really function, or the oppose of that is, get the feeling of anxiety. So most people, if they've ever smoked before and like, I don't really want to smoke because they get anxiety, whatever it is, they probably smoked something that was a little too high in THC. So if you're looking at like levels in THC, what I find was the best for me, so that I am still productive, is around something between like 15 to 17%. Around like the 20 and higher, it's almost like you want to, that's like a daytime movie, get really into it and kind of be like, but you're not going to really want to, for me, I'm not going to want to work out, feeling like that, because there is a little level, the higher it gets of, you do have that anxiety feeling, but nothing will happen wrong. You just got to understand that the higher you go, the more risk there is, right? So now we have an understanding of indica and sativa. Well, you want to smoke a sativa. Now people are like, I don't want to smoke. That's fine, right? I've been trying to cut back from smoking too. So what I have now is I do mostly edibles. So I do have an awesome distillate sativa. It's 1,000 milligrams in a 1 milliliter syringe, like 1 cc, and each notch basically is like 25 milligrams of THC. So I can kind of gauge exactly what I want. And when you ingest weed, in a sense, like when you're taking it oral, you're gonna have the high a lot longer than you would if you're gonna smoke it. So for me, it helps me cut back on inhaling weed, and it keeps me in that zone longer, which is great. So before the gym, I already have the benefits of a sativa. So like sativa is going to help me. Number one, it's not going to make me really hungry. So if you're looking at like a weed that you don't want to make you hungry, people are like, man, if I do that, I eat too much food and blah, blah, blah. No, get a sativa. For the most part, it's my experience, right? So you want to get a sativa. You want to get a sativa that is a good level of THC, around like I would say 15 to 17 for those of you who don't smoke a lot. Keep around like the 16, 17, 15, 16, 17 mark, whatever around there. You should be pretty good. Go lower if you want to. And then CBD, if you could get a sativa with a CBD, that's fine, because then you get the benefits of, joint pain. So if you're in the gym and you need some kind of, medicinal help when it comes to, I get sore shoulders, sore knees, sore wrist, or whatever, that's what you want to use. If not, that's totally fine, just to have a good sativa with a level of THC, and that's it. Now, again, for me, you don't want to take way too long before you go to the gym. So regardless of what you smoke, whether it's a sativa or an indica, you will crash at the end, and you will get to that point where you don't want to really do anything. Indica is going to do a lot faster than sativa will. So you kind of almost have like a lot of time before you reach that point that if you're not being productive before that happens, you can kiss that goodbye. So my best advice would be, if you are going to, use it as a pre-workout, use it just like you do pre-workout. If you ingest it, obviously, orally, whether it be like an edible or an oil, whatever, that will take longer than obviously smoking. So if you need time, if it's a time thing, smoke it, hits you a lot faster. If it's not a time thing, then take it almost the same time you would with your pre-workout. Take it like 45 minutes. It takes that much time about for your pre-workout to kind of kick in. For me, on a full stomach, I can feel my pre-workout kicking in within like 30 to 40 minutes. So I would do that. And again, you're gonna get the benefits from both. So like, think about your sativa having the benefits of being alert, being aware, more energy. You're not, starving or hungry, whatever, more focus. And then you have like your pre-workout that's going to have some kind of nootropic in it, like theanine, and then it's going to have like, your vasodilators with like, beta-alanine, citrulline malate, and then obviously your caffeine. And you put those two together, you're going to have this like awesome like joint team of like the ultra focus plus the stamina. So like when, let's just say if or when the sativa starts to crash and you start to, when it's starting to wear and you're getting that down part of it, you still have the caffeine and the ups from your sativa. From your pre-workout. So that's what I do. I have to use both at the same time, right? So I use both. And then obviously the biggest kicker to make sure that all works together is music. That's just my thing. For me, it's music. I get lost in music. Music for me is like, it's just like the icing on the cake. It's just as soon as I have that, I feel great. I'm ready to go to the gym. I got this good focus. And then I got this soundtrack that's like, I'm ready to go to battle with these weights. And it's gonna help with like your adrenaline. You find a piece of music that gets you up. You know what I mean? It's just gonna enhance that natural feeling of you anyway when you're having like weed and your pre-workout in you. So that's my experience, and I guess my tips when it comes to marijuana and training. Now, does it affect me in a negative way? You could probably look for studies. That's why I do a little look for studies things, because I can definitely find enough studies that will say that it's going to affect your muscle growth, and I could probably find enough studies that are going to say it won't affect muscle growth. All I know is that the one thing that will affect muscle growth is, number one, not eating enough. And you're like, what's eating enough? Well, you don't have to, you guys already know my take on when it comes to, caloric intake. You don't need a mass amount of food to put on muscle. You just need enough of it, enough energy, enough water to make sure it happens. So if you are following a good diet that has, the proper amount of protein, everything else is where it should be, I don't see marijuana really affecting that growth. Now, if you're a heavy smoker, like I'm talking like you're really, really, really smoking, you're smoking bongs, you're smoking blunts, whatever, and you're starting to feel cardiovascular problems, well, that's an obvious side effect or result when you're smoking marijuana when it comes to actually like burning it, right? Obviously, if you're smoking it, you're going to have the negative effects of how it affects obviously your lungs and obviously your cardiovascular output. Like you're not going to have much that good of breath, just like a regular smoker. It's almost the same thing. Only one gives you benefit of being high in all the the benefits of marijuana, and then tobacco being just absolutely useless. But yeah, so if smoking is something that you're like, oh, I don't want to smoke, or I've been smoking too much weed, I don't want to do it anymore, don't do it. I'm not saying do it. You don't have to smoke at all. You don't have to do weed at all for pre-workout, period. I'm not saying you have to do anything. I'm just saying if you were to, the best way to do it is to find yourself a sativa oil or something that you can ingest and not smoke. And if you can't find that, I would go towards more like a vaporizer, something that's going to just give you the vapor that'll give you less of all the crap from burning. The last thing I would do would be like a pipe, not a pipe, but like a joint. I would go like edibles, then I would go vaporizer, then I would go bong, and then I would go, blunt or whatever after the end. If you're looking at the most optimal thing for your health, this isn't healthy, definitely not smoking it, but if I can minimize those effects and those negative parts by just switching to a different, way of doing it, eating it, then that's the best way to do it. So that's what I mean by optimal. Yeah, so I'm hoping that helps you guys out. I am 100% an avid weed smoker or user. It sounds so stupid. Yeah, I'm not against. I don't judge anybody. I can't I'm not gonna judge anyone for whatever they do, as long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as it's not affecting you in a negative way. As long as anything that you do is not affecting somebody else in a negative way or affecting you in a negative way, I'm all for it. But as soon as what you're doing is affecting you in a negative way and affecting other people in a negative way, then that's when I have to be like, nah, right? You don't have to go balls to the wall. Start off small. Start off with what you can take, with what you can handle, and then go from there. You don't have to go Cheech and Chong the first time and then, end up greening out and puking everywhere. That sucks. I had a couple of those before. It's not good. Definitely not good. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that video. And if you did, definitely like and subscribe to this video and hit the notification button so that next time I post a video, you'll see it pop up. And for coaching, hardcore.training02@gmail.com. And make sure you use my code JONNI20 at iammutant.com for 20% off of all products on that site. Anyway, guys, until next time, keep dream chasing. Peace.